Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a long while, actually, since we've done this. We've been kind of busy.
I mean, kind of. We've been kind of busy. I've been a little bit busy. You've been busy.
Yeah, we've been busy.
I guess we've been busy.
We've been both busy and we've been kind of lazy at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's just that I have work and then I go home and I play games and I go to sleep. And, you know.
Yeah, because Kevin gets home at 7. And then on some days I have work. On most days I have work and school. So I get off of school at 4 and then I go to work at 5. And then I'm off at 10. Mm-hmm. So that by that time I don't really want to do anything and I have homework. So
yeah. But hey, we're back at it. Like I said the other last time, I believe, we're just gonna record whatever we can and then we'll upload it, which means we're probably gonna have long gaps, but hopefully not too long. I know this gap has been what, 2 months, 3 months, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute, like a solid minute. But with that, we have a tiny bit of recap.
We do.
We have 2 people. Well, 2 people is inaccurate. We have 1 person and 2 comments.
Got it.
Yes. So the first one, episode 16, we're introduced the 36 questions thing. And it was from me first.
Ever loyal.
Yes. So I believe the question the question was if you can have dinner with the future self, not future. So anyone you know, or anyone at all. So it could be a celebrity, it could be your future self, it could be whatever. So he was not interested in meeting. So it's basically saying not really interested in meeting your future self, his future self, and he's not a very very curious person, which fair, right? And right now the only person that they would like to meet is Tom Holland, which for anyone who knows Yin, he's a big Spider-Man fan, so that's par for the course. And the next one was oh yeah, the thing that I thought was just gonna be a throwaway question. So in episode 17, I mentioned is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, basically. And we had a guest there, which was Regis Nab, and he said it was a Halloween movie, and you said it was a Christmas movie.
Because it is.
Well, someone begs to disagree, Sarah. Yin says it's primarily a Halloween movie because even though it may have a lot of Christmas stuff in it, it's all Halloween themed, basically.
Wrong. Okay, I already said this in the last one, but this is my reasoning, okay? It's definitely a Christmas movie. Okay, hear me out. It starts at Halloween. Okay, Halloween is over and done with. It's Christmas time now, baby. Okay, that's what the whole movie is about. He goes into Christmas land or whatever. Is it town?
Yeah, Halloween Town, Christmas Town, I believe. Yep, it's Christmas Town. There we go.
Okay, he goes into Christmas Town or whatever, and then he meets Santa Claus, and he's like, we gotta be like the Christmas man himself. It's not, I gotta be more Halloween-y, And I understand that most of the movie, all of the stuff is Halloween themed because that's all they know.
Well, at the end, because you mentioned this, at the end, the movie is about Jack becoming what he's best at, which is Halloween. So at the end, he decides to be Halloween-y. Well,
yeah. Because the whole movie he was trying to be something that he's not.
Yeah.
But the whole movie doesn't take place during Halloween. It takes place during Christmas. Okay, wait, let me think about this.
Well, okay. He at the end of his comment, he said he feels like the Christmas portion of the story is mostly happenstance, basically. So it's a Halloween story that just happens to take place in Christmas.
No. Wait, but that's like actually wrong because it doesn't happen to take place in Christmas. He stumbles upon Christmas Town, and because he's so fascinated by something new, he wants to incorporate that into his life because he's bored with the stuff that he has now. It's not happenstance. Like, it just so happens that like that it's in the same time of the year, right? Like,
well, he said he could have potentially done the same thing with the Easter and Thanksgiving towns. Potentially, I guess. But I guess that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie was going to Christmas.
wait.
Because there are other towns. Because when you go to the streets,
because of the Easter egg one and the turkey and the whatever.
Well, he's saying that he could have potentially gone to any of those towns and be like, I want to be more like that holiday. Which I would argue, like, but that's not the point of the movie.
But yeah, that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is it's Christmas. Why is it called The Nightmare Before Christmas if it's not a Christmas movie?
Okay, well, I'm going to add a little bit more to this. The director of The Nightmare Before Christmas, who is not Tim Burton, by the way, for those who care, said that it is a Halloween movie.
What?
Yes.
But he's wrong. He's wrong about his own movie.
Well, okay, to be fair, like, it wasn't an answer they just gave, like, outright. Like, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween Christmas movie? He didn't just go, like, Halloween, duh. No, he sat there, thought about it, and was like, Halloween, I guess. So, it's not something he thought about when he was asked it, but he did say it's a Halloween movie.
But why? Why is it a Halloween movie and not a Christmas movie?
I'm not sure. Let me bring it up. Okay, so this is from the director of the film, Henry Selick. This is from courtesy of Cosmopolitan. So during a Q&A show in Colorado Telluride, whatever, horror show film festival. Sorry for everybody from Colorado, Telluride, Reed, whatever. He said it's a Halloween movie and explained that if you're asking the people who made the film, is a movie about Halloween and the people of Halloween and how they react to something like Christmas.
Well, how can I argue with that? Like, the guy himself said it's a Halloween movie.
Okay, well, the creator can be
wrong.
in a way, right? Like the most popular example, and this is probably a more extreme example, obviously, but the most popular example is like the creator of Ender's Game, right? Who, if you read Ender's Game or watched it, I guess, I don't know, but I don't think the message comes across that well in the movie. It's all about a story about this kid who is like kind of misunderstood, and like how people don't really look into his like his potential and how he's kind of outcasted from like the regular society until he's actually has the opportunity to show his talents, and he kind of goes against the strict basically regulations of society itself. It's all about how he basically finds he goes against the people who's in charge and just beats himself, right? Which you, as people who are like in the minority or are comedy systematically like suppressed, that's a very like relatable story to some people, especially towards like minorities and like the LGBT. However, the creators of Ender's Game is famously against LGBT rights.
You mean infamously?
Infamously, whatever. It could be the same.
Not really. Well, infamously means that they're famous for a bad thing. Famously means that they're famous because they're famous for a good thing. Right? I mean, anyone can be famous, but usually infamous means that they're famous for something negative. Okay.
Well, that's semantics. Whatever. So he's infamously like against LGBT rights. So like the creator can be wrong about his own media. Right? That's an extreme example. So we can still argue. Yes, it's a Christmas movie. I still think it's a Christmas movie. That doesn't change my opinion. Personally, I think it's all about the theme is Christmas for most of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's all about how Halloween is over.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I think the cast is Halloween. I think the story and the setting, or the main setting, is Christmas.
Yeah. That's what I think too, because like most of the movie is not Halloween. Most of the movie is Christmas, and it's all about these Halloween people trying to make their Halloween town more Christmassy. That's the whole point. It's that they're trying to like understand the Christmas spirit when they actually cannot, because they're Halloween people.
Yeah, Halloween people. So but yeah, I feel like,
but it still has a Christmas message, kind of. Partially at the end.
Just be yourself and don't be like anything else.
No. I mean that too.
Oh, well, that's kind of a harsh way of putting it. It's more about like how you should do what you're good at, but try other things too. Sort of.
Yeah, that sounds kind of weird when you say it that way.
Yeah, but no, like I like there is a what's this, a meaning,
a
moral toward it. Because it's all about how Jack at least tried, or he wanted more, and he did more.
Yeah.
But he went back to like what he's great at. Those are the 2 comments we got. So if you guys have any more comments, then you can just leave it in the comments below or email us at JustACoupleQnA@gmail.com. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the more guests we have, I'm gonna keep asking this question. Similar to the ghost question, I guess. But yeah. No, I feel like you argue either way, but I think it is a Christmas movie.
I think we're on the same page. Surprise, surprise.
So you thought of a topic today, Sarah?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I have a topic. I have a topic because I've been recently doing this. So this anime season, and this does just stick to anime. I'm just saying, this anime season, I've only been watching a couple shows, and like it's been pretty easy to catch up. So I've been doing something that I think a lot of anime fans wish they can do, but just hasn't. Going through my backlog. So for example, I finally got around to watching Fullmetal Alchemist, Code Geass, and I'm almost done with Evangelion, which are like 3 of some of the pretty big animes out there. And even like recently, like this year, I've just watched Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
So, but I realized while watching these shows that many people consider classics or must-watches, right? Especially in the case of Evangelion, even though I'm not completely done yet. To be fair, I haven't watched Evangelion yet. Nor am only like an episode away from finishing it all, but again, I haven't finished it. That I am getting the feeling that these shows are good for its time. And I feel like if they came out today, they would be kind of like any other anime show out there, which it would just be fall by the wayside. And
really, even Gurren Lagann?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like the same as like Kill la Kill.
Yeah. Like, when was the last time you heard people talk about Kill la Kill? Like, I'm sure like every once in a while, but not often. Like I feel like if Gurren Lagann came out today, you'd be like, oh, that was a trippy anime and stuff like that, right? And
I wouldn't say that.
Well, okay, it's not trippy. It's more of a, well, people say like the second half of the anime is kind of like a mind fuck, basically.
The second half is just boring. Like nothing happens.
Have you watched Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Oh, I thought we were talking about Gurren Lagann.
No, I'm talking about Evangelion. Sorry.
But I was talking about Gurren Lagann.
Yeah. Well, no, I was talking about Gurren Lagann for a bit. Well, I said even Gurren Lagann.
Oh, okay.
I feel like today would just be like an anime
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
But
I got it.
in Evangelion, like I feel like if that came out today, then yeah, I think people would just be like, oh, that was kind of a mind fuck, and then just let it go. It's kind of like the same case with Made in Abyss, where like, oh, that second half was like, it was brutal and like kind of hard to watch, but it was very intriguing. Basically,
It was compelling.
it was compelling, but no one's talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be until season 2 comes out that people are gonna be talking about it again. And then when that's over, they're not gonna talk about it anymore. So I was starting to get the feeling that one, people overhype the anime I just watched. But that's kind of like what naturally happened because of them being so good for its time.
Do you think it was because it was good for its time, or do you think it's because of its of the way that you had to watch it that people liked it?
A little bit of both. Okay, so each case had its own different thing. Like, all right, let's say FMA.
Let me just go over what I was gonna say there.
Yeah.
Is that so what I mean by that is like getting and watching like Ava, you either had to buy the VHS tapes or you had to buy a DVD, or it was some like,
Or watch on TV. It was on Adult Swim.
it was on Adult Swim for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, even before that, it was like you had to get the
Right,
Yeah,
the
pirated
getting it
copy.
itself was a journey.
yeah. And like experiencing something like that where you could only experience it in like those like maybe 4 venues. It's just like, that's kind of what made it special.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I feel like each of those animes has that kind of quality to it, which was like there is like an aspect of like getting it, and even more to that, like the aspect of being able to talk to a lot of people, and the fact that back then it was a lot harder. I don't say a lot harder. It was even like back in like early 2000s. Early 2000s it was kind of hard to get into anime. In mid 2000s, like before the tens, I guess, it was getting a lot easier because of the internet. And when the internet came around, then it was super easy to get into anime. And now it's like even the easiest to get into anime because of like streaming services. But I feel like Ava is a case where like the getting it is part of the journey. I think of all the animes I watched so far, Dark Crystal Classics, Ava, FMA, Girl Login, Code Geass to a certain extent. Ava is the one which is like, that's probably the one where it's a real journey to get into. Because you had to get the VHS tapes. You had to get the AVD dub or like their subtitles, and then you either had to find someone who had it and then you had to watch it. And like going through it like just once, you won't be able to comprehend anything unless you kind of already knew the story. So you either need to watch it multiple times or talk to it with another friend or something like that. So there is that kind of aspect to Ava. So I feel like that, and it also helped that it really was like a cultural touchstone for anime itself, where it kind of impacted like the genre of mecha and like how people interpreted anime for a very, very long time, even to this day. But I think even with that said, okay, let's say somehow like the touchstone of Ava was still there and anime was exactly the same as today. Even though I would say if Ava didn't exist, anime would look pretty different from what it is now. Even let's say that, and let's say Ava came out now, I don't think many people will care. Right? I think it would have a cult following if it came out now, like with most anime, but it wouldn't be as nearly as big. I wouldn't even say like maybe even 10% as big as Ava is in our timeline, I guess, as opposed to the alternate weird timeline. And I think that's because, I don't know, watching the show, there's nothing I don't like about it, right? Although I am getting to the part with the last 2 episodes that people like, some people complain about, but some people also like. where it's just a bunch of monologue and stuff like that. But there's nothing I don't like about Ava. Like, I'm watching it and I understand when it came out from that time. Like, I understand like how it had the impact that it did, but it's not outstanding. I guess the best way I could say is like I was expecting more. I was expecting to be impacted like a little bit more than I ended up being, even though like I said I'm not done. But like even like I'm 25 episodes in, and even then I'm just like, yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that it had the impact it did, I don't think I have pushed this far. I think I still might have like still watched it because I watch everything, but I don't think I would care as much. Although like there is one thing I like about Ava, which was for its time, the animation is still pretty good. Despite the budgeting issues, and you can definitely see where the budgeting issues is. Like, it's kind of funny now knowing that there was budget issues and watching the series. That it's kind of funny pointing out that's where they save money. Whenever they cover the characters' mouths, whenever it's just a long shot and it's just one same animation loop, that's where they save money. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you have you watched Ava at all?
No.
No.
I'm surprised that you asked me because I feel like you would have known, but no, I've never really. I think I've seen the first episode of Ava, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get into it, so I stopped.
So the first episode's not entertaining at all.
Usually I give it the 3-ep drop, right? But then I just was not into it, so.
I don't, like, Ava, to me, didn't start getting interesting until... I forgot what episode it was. Maybe it was like 16 or 17. Now it's way deep in the series already. I'm not gonna say way deep. It's already halfway through the series, and I know why it was like that, because it was like that because they wanted to set up like the status quo before they start deconstructing it.
Yeah.
All right. However, I think they set it up for a little bit too long. It was literally a full season of just like, oh, Monster of the Week. All right.
Yeah.
And then after those like 12 to 13 episodes, then the episode 14 comes around, which is like the starting point of things seeming weird. And there was hints of things being weird beforehand, but 14 is where it starts being like weird, and then it doesn't actually become what I thought Ava was going to be like until like episode 19. Right. And for those who have seen Ava, I think it's episode 19. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, episode 19 is where Shinji loses control of his Ava. Right, and that's the point where I'm like, this is what I thought Ava was more going to be like. And then after that, it didn't necessarily drag, but it became exactly what I thought Ava was going to be like, which is long to watch. Right? Not long and boring, not necessarily entertaining either, but it just started being a long watch at that point. And I think that has to do with it has to do with like the long shots that they do. When I say long shots this time, I mean like it's just the same image just looped for like a minute. Or they reuse animation for like 4 minutes straight. Like, it started feeling like a chore to watch at that point.
That's how a lot of anime feels for me now, currently, in its current form. And even before, I don't know, I just can't really watch anime like that anymore. I get too bored. I have to have like a highlight reel. So, like, I'm right now, the only anime thing I'm watching is like parts of like Boruto, because Naruto is like, they went back in the past and Boruto's talking to young Naruto, and I'm really only watching for young Naruto when I should just be watching Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like the only thing I'm watching because nothing else has really got me interested except for maybe the one about the African animals being salarymen.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only thing that I was interested in this season, and I was too lazy to open up Verve and log in.
It's on Funimation, I believe.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was on Verve. I thought I saw it on Verve.
I had to double check, but
I don't know. I was way too lazy to even like watch it, so I don't know. I get annoyed when I see anime now. Like when I hear it and when I see people watch it, I don't know, for some reason I get annoyed because it's like too long and all the characters look the same, and it's like I feel like everyone's watching the same, like, I don't know.
I feel like that's half the reason why I'm like not watching a lot of the current anime right now.
I'm so tired of isekais.
There are 6 isekais this season.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're probably all light novel adaptations too.
Except for one. But like even then, like let me go over to another different anime I was watching, which was like FMA. Mm-hmm. FMA didn't feel like a chore to watch. Mm-hmm. It was long because it had a lot of episodes, right? Mm-hmm. But I never felt like I have to watch another episode of.
I think you should clarify that it's not Brotherhood.
Yes, I did not watch Brotherhood. I'm going to watch it eventually. I watched the original FMA.
Yeah.
And even though the second half was not as good, it never felt like a chore. I just felt like I was going through the episodes and it was just fine. Mm-hmm. Right? Even the bad episodes, I was just like, all right, move on. Mm-hmm. But man, when I was watching Ava, it was just like, oh, another one of these. And it's just it's another set of long shots, another set of reused animations. But okay, but that's not exactly the topic I wanted to go into right now, even though I ended up being like that. The topic I wanted to go into is, how do you feel about things? I know this was a topic in the anime community a while back about things being classics, right? And how,
like, what is the golden age of anime?
Sort of. It's like what can be considered a classic, what can be considered a modern classic, and stuff like that. Because I've been going through some of these things that people consider classics. The main sticking points would be like the like Ava, Gurren Lagann, FMA. Even though I haven't watched Brotherhood, but that's besides the point right now. Right? Those are like at least 2 of those people would say like those are classics, right? Ava and Gurren Lagann. But after watching them, after being so deep in anime and somehow avoiding a shit ton of just not necessarily spoilers, but like avoiding a bunch of like the hype of those 2 series and just not caring about them and just moving on and then eventually getting around to watching it, I just don't feel like they deserve the status of being classics because of them coming out at the time and the impact they had in the anime community. But they're also just alright shows. Right? Like I enjoyed Gurren Lagann, right? Gurren Lagann was a very fun watch. Like I enjoyed Simon a lot. And some of the characters I really liked. Some of the other characters I didn't like a lot, but so like I really liked watching Simon, and I really liked his relationship with what's her name, Nia. Okay. Like I enjoyed his relationship with Simon's relationship with Nia, but at the end I was just like, okay, that was a good show. It wasn't like it didn't change my opinion about anime, or didn't like I wouldn't even put it close to my top 10. No, I'll put it close to my top 10. It was definitely my top 20.
I was gonna say, I'm like, but it's not close to your top 10.
I would hesitantly put it in my top 10. Right? It's not in my top 5 though. I wouldn't say like it is by far like it wouldn't make the cutting list of being my favorite anime of all time. Right? Not even close to being one of my favorite anime of all time. Like it is a good show, but like I feel like I watch shows currently that's all right. It's about the same quality as that. And I feel like I watched shows back then that are even better, but didn't get the same recognition. I had, out of all the shows that I've watched this year and gotten into and watched, my favorite one so far is The Irresponsible Captain Tyler. And no one talks about that.
Oh, because you watched it this year.
I did watch it this year.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was my favorite show I watched this year. And no one talks about it, and I don't think people consider it a classic.
Maybe you should clarify that it's not from this year, and it is like it's from like the 1980s.
It's from the 1980s, but like
the late 1980s.
Yeah, I feel like The Irresponsible Captain Tyler, the 1980s version, not the sequel that came out a couple years ago.
I think it's from the 1980s.
I feel like that show was better than any of the classics that I watched so far. Which I think is subjective because one, it is a comedy. To be fair, no, it's 1993. So early 1990s.
I wasn't even close.
No. So
it's got that Tenchi Muyo kind of vibe, though.
But like I feel like the writing is a lot tighter in Captain Tyler, and I think the characters are just
the characters are overall more likable.
They're way more likable. Like, all right, like even though I can't remember their names off the bat because I'm awful with names, I can at least remember all the characters with The Irresponsible Captain Tyler, which is saying something because there are a lot of characters in The Irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Yeah, because it's a whole crew.
Yeah, it's literally a whole crew. I can't say that for every single character in FMA. I don't remember like half of the State Alchemist people. Like I remember the important ones like Hawk and Roy and Armstrong.
You mean like Hawkeye?
Hawkeye, yeah. I think it's Hawkeye.
Is it Hawkeye? Lisa, it's like
Lisa Hawkeye, something like that.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's Hawkeye. But like I remember those, but some of the side characters I don't remember at all. Right? And a lot of the people that Ed and Al like meet throughout the journey, I don't know. I think I can remember like maybe a handful of them. And again, like I'm bad with names regardless, but like I can at least like remember what they look like. But these people, but arguably in Captain Tyler, they show up every episode. Okay, yeah, that's true. But like even then, in Gurren Lagann, I also you wanna know who are really forgettable in Gurren Lagann? The people who are also part of the rebellion, who show up early. They steal their own suits. Yeah. Their leader has blonde hair, I think.
Oh, like Kizan or whatever?
I think. There's the thing, like I don't remember most of them. But like him, I guess. I think he had a girl with him. And
he has like two sisters.
Yeah, I think. See, I don't even remember. But like
they're kind of a big part though.
Yeah, they're a huge part and I don't remember them.
How do you not remember them? They're kind of
because I only remember
he died.
Yeah, I only remember him, the blonde dude. Again, I'm bad with names, so regardless if I remember their name or not.
Spoilers, I guess. Yeah. For like over a decade old anime.
But I only remember him. That's the only character I remember. I don't remember any of those side characters that he's with.
Wow.
Like that is like literally a thing. Like I don't remember them. Like, I don't know what they look like in my head.
That's fair, I guess. But then, okay, think about it though. We do have a pilot, okay, in Irresponsible Captain Tyler, all right? And he hangs out with the twins, who are also training to be pilots, and they have a natural talent.
Like I remember them. I even remember what some of the stuff he did, which is like saying something because a lot of anime just go like
that one
in one ear,
episode
one out
where
the
he
other.
was trying to like shoot the target without like using the assist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
So mundane and yet so important, I guess, in the show.
like like a lot of anime just go in one ear out the other for me, right? Like I'll have like a flavor of the month, and like maybe I'll remember it down the line and be like, oh, that was cool, and I can like rewatch it every once in a while. But if I don't like remember it at all, like that's normal for me. But that's also like, that I must have not liked it that much, right? And that kind of what happened for me for parts of Girl Login, and like
Is it the future part? The time skip?
not necessarily.
Really?
Okay,
the
here's
time skip is so bad.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't care about the time skip at all. But like when I say not necessarily, I mean like there's stuff I forget or don't care about even in the first half.
Like the hot spring.
That's hot spring whatever shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't care about any of that. Like the only people I cared about during the entirety of the series was Simon, Nia, what's the Beastman dude?
Viral.
Viral. And I was hoping I remember his name by now, but I can't remember his name. Shit.
Kamina?
Kamina.
Oh my god.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm really bad with remembering names, but I know what they look like and I know what they did. Right? That should be the biggest example. I forgot Kamina's name, but I know him. All right.
It's like Kamina's like the one to not forget. Simon and Kamina.
Yeah. Like, I cared about those characters all the way through. Yoko, I stopped caring halfway through.
Yeah, well, she kind of didn't do anything. She's cursed.
Yeah. But, like, those 5 characters in particular, I cared about all the way through the series. Like, I enjoy those. Everyone else, I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
Despite some of them being, like, really important. Like, the blonde-haired dude, I don't remember his name, and I'm too lazy to look up. Or, like, even, the scientist dude, right?
The one who fixes everything.
Yeah, the
up.
one who fixes everything. Like,
Oh, what's his name?
yeah, I sort of remember him. I remember him being, like, very effeminate during the series.
Effeminate.
Yeah. That's all I remember him being, other than him being effeminate and him fixing things. But I can't tell you a single thing about his character.
He fixes things.
Yeah. Everything in that first half that doesn't involve those specific characters, I don't care about. I just stopped caring.
That's fair.
After I finish the show, I'm like, I guess I could watch it again, but I'm not gonna watch like probably 80% of the show ever again.
Well, that's what I was saying to you, right?
Like, that's what the movie's for.
That's what the movie's for.
Yeah.
Because then it cuts out all of the stuff about the stupid future arc and all the politics of the future arc or whatever, or not the future arc, but the time skip.
Yeah.
And then the hot spring thing. They kind of gloss over it. So all of the stuff that you didn't like in the anime is condensed all into 1 hour.
Yeah.
And like removed.
Yeah. Like, okay. Like, now that I'm watching Evangelion, right? I can't say for certainty which characters I'm gonna for sure remember and which characters I'm gonna just not care about, forget. But I feel like the character I'm gonna remember is gonna be Shinji, because he is the main character. Asuka, Rei, because they're also main characters, right? And it's gonna be Misato.
Is that the sister?
He's not the sister. She's not the sister. She's like the guardian, the purple hair girl you're talking about, right?
Oh, I thought they were related.
They're not related.
Oh.
Yeah. Misato, Shinji's dad, Gedo, I believe his name is. This is bad. I just watched the anime today. Right? And I think that those are the only characters I'm gonna like for sure remember down the line. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget like all the supporting cast. Like the people who are usually on the computers, his classmates, I'm gonna forget about. And like the most important character I might forget about is like the blonde hair scientist chick, who I also can't remember her name. And that's saying something because I literally just watched this anime.
Isn't she kind of important?
She's super important, right? She's one of the main characters, but she is not intriguing at all.
That's like Kimetsu no Yaiba. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I have a hard time remembering the main character's name.
Tanjiro. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, no, like that's relatable. Like I remember a lot of the characters of Kimetsu no Yaiba because one, I watched the show recently. Mm-hmm. And when I say recently, I mean like really recently. And two, is made by Ufotable. So I really enjoy watching animation. So I've seen a lot of those same clips over and over and over again. All the Sakuga parts, I've seen them multiple times. So like I know like, oh, Tanjiro, Yunosuke, like shit, I'm already forgetting one of the names. Zenitsu. There you go. Nezuko. Like I can remember those names because I've seen them, and it's like imprinted to me because I've seen a lot of the clips a lot. So I can remember that. And that's the same case with My Hero, right? I remember a lot of the characters of My Hero because I read the manga so many times. Because I'm a big fan of Horikoshi. Like, not necessarily just My Hero, but Horikoshi, because I've read his stuff for a while now. But, like, and it's kind of bad because I know I'm not going to watch a lot of anime again, right? I'm not going to watch the first season of FMA again. And I'm not going to watch Evangelion again, probably. And Code Geass. Like, Code Geass is probably the one I enjoyed the most of the classics. Half of it being, like, the animation is still very good to this day. And the other half being, like, I like a lot of the characters. Despite some of the bad writing. Because there is, I won't say a lot of bad writing, but there's some critical bad writing in Code Geass. Despite that, I still like a lot of the characters. But even then, I'm not going to remember a lot of Code Geass, I don't think. And again, it's going to be hard because it's just a matter of time before I'm going to eventually forget some of them. But I won't know which I'm going to remember. That's it. That's future me problem. But yeah, I am starting to get the feeling that classics are stuff that I'm not necessarily going to be just good shows.
Well, it's just subjective, right?
It's very subjective. Like, I know that my opinion isn't right? And I get, people saying like, hey, oh, it's just your opinion, whatever. And to that, I say, like, yeah, you're right, but that doesn't make my opinion wrong.
Yeah. It doesn't make your opinion invalid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like my way of putting it better. But just because I have issues with these animes doesn't mean they're bad, right? I don't think all the shows I've watched so far, I'm not going to call any of them bad. They're not bad. At the worst, all right, and at the best, like, that was pretty good. Like, but again, I'm starting to get the feeling that classics doesn't mean that it's gonna be an amazing show, right? I think the one anime that I watched that is considered a classic and I thought was amazing was Cowboy Bebop. Right? And that was kind of like an example of things being like perfect for me because one, the dub's great. I love Steve Bloom, so very easy to watch. Two, it's mostly an anthology series, and I love anthology series. Like Kino's Journey is one of my favorite anime of all time. And three, like the cast is small, so they're all very memorable to me. Right, so it's very easy to watch it, and the way it ended is very memorable. I'm not gonna forget that ending anytime soon. So it very much encapsulates like, oh, this is a great anime for me. And I haven't gotten that feeling from any of the other classics I've watched so far. Like I get like the equivalent of that for like film would be like Citizen Kane, right?
I suppose, yeah.
Because like since a kid, that's like a must watch for like every filmmaker,
Yeah.
right? But I think most filmmakers go into it will realize like it's not going to be like the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
Despite people saying that.
It's actually like not that great.
But like it is an important movie to watch, right? Although I think the sticking point for me is that because I haven't gone around to watching all these classics, and then I'm just getting around to watching it, they don't feel like much watch to me. I think that's the sticking point. I don't feel like Evangelion is a much watch. I don't feel like Gurren Lagann is a much watch.
A must watch.
Yeah. I don't feel like FMA is a must watch.
Sorry, I don't mean to do that, but like I hear it and I must correct it.
Like, I don't feel like you have to watch these shows. I feel like that's a more popular opinion now. Like, I feel like if I did care about what other people thought, like I feel like I would be comfortable saying that now because a lot
You
of
have to
people
have a really clickbaity title when you
post this.
Yeah, you post this. Is Evangelion trash? Gurren Lagann, Evangelion, and what else did we say?
Evangelion, I have a separate topic for that. We'll get into that later.
Ava, Gurren Lagann, and FMA trash?
No, you gotta really make them mad. You gotta be like, as bad as you think. Yeah, they don't feel like I after watching it, I don't feel like I had to watch them.
That's a lot of anime that I come across. I don't know. I never feel like I have to watch anything. So
I mean, that's true. You don't have to watch any of these shows, but they don't feel like,
like I'm missing out if I don't watch them.
I never felt like I was missing out not watching them. Mm-hmm. I think now that I have watched them, I never felt like I was missing out. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, that's just the thing. Like, I don't feel like anything has changed. Anything has retroactively changed, basically. Mm-hmm. I feel like my opinion about the anime in particular has changed. Mm-hmm. But I don't think anything, if I did watch it back then, I don't think my anime experience would change at all. Mm-hmm. I think I'll still end up exactly the way I am now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was just kind of expecting a little bit more from classics.
From these quote unquote classics.
Yeah. I guess that's just it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that like people are wrong, right? Mm-hmm. For like liking these shows, but I also think that people view these kinds of shows with like rose tinted glasses. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure people will still love Ava, and I'm sure people will still love Gurren Lagann for what it is, or Cowboy Bebop, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But sometimes your favorite shows don't age that well, or sometimes they're not as good as you think.
Well, okay, I will say this about these shows, though. They have aged incredibly well.
Well, let me just say this. Is Samurai Champloo, everyone loves that show, okay? But if you go back and watch it, like all the way through, it's not that good. Like, I love that show. I bought it. I have the whole series, and it's kind of garbage. Okay, because the only good things about the show are the episodes that you remember, and that's it. The ending is bad, and then and that's not even being subjective.
It's
objectively bad. Like, you go through that entire journey, and then it turns out, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll just split up. Thanks.
Yeah. I feel like the more I'm gonna watch some of these classics, I still have some to go through. The more I'm gonna be like, that's gonna be a bad one, right? Yeah. Or that has not aged well at all. But of all the ones I've seen so far, like, they have aged pretty well. I think FMA has aged pretty well, the original series. Even though the second half is not that good. I think Code Geass has aged impeccably well. I can imagine Code Geass coming out now. That's how well it's aged. I think was the Gurren Lagann has aged well. I think Evangelion, if you go into it knowing that they had budget issues, I think it's fine. I think it's even better that way because the stuff that does look good looks great. Every mecha fight in Evangelion, you could tell that's where all the money went because it's all fluid animation. It's not standstills. It's not like GIFs. It's animation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do you feel about the classic issues these days?
Like, what is a classic? What isn't a classic?
Yeah.
Or
Are we ever gonna get a modern classic? Is that even possible these days? Stuff like that.
yeah, I think it's possible. I think people as a collective will find something that they all enjoy, at least to some extent, and then that will be the new thing, at least for a little bit, right? Like that's the thing of 2018, or that's the thing of 2019. Like, for example, Your Name, right?
That was the thing of 2018
That's
or 2017.
going to be a classic for some people,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not going to be like a series classic, but it's definitely going to be a movie classic.
You actually have been going through an anime journey recently. You've been going through the Makoto Shinkai movies.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that maybe later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that it's more likely that movies will become classics, like animated movies, because they're more concise and like
They're more impactful.
Yeah, like the message is like all in one package, and I think they're easier to watch and rewatch.
Yeah.
So, like, I could watch Your Name again. I mean, I don't really want to, but I could watch it again if I wanted to, and it would only cost me an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas I have to watch an entire series, and that's dedication. That's setting aside maybe a week or two to watch.
If you want to pace yourself, yeah.
Yeah, to watch like an episode a day or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, like I feel like the movie equivalent to like classics would be like, oh, Star Wars, right? The original Star Wars trilogy, to clarify.
Yeah.
Like the people consider, I think most people consider the original Star Wars like a classic. Those are like, oh, must watch for a lot of people. But I think the issue people are having today is like, I don't think anybody will call the new Star Wars trilogy a classic. Even though a nice movie hasn't come out yet, that might prove me wrong. But
I don't think anybody would call it a classic because it's not. It didn't give people the same kind of impact.
yeah.
You know.
But like, is the thing like, is that because them not being as good movies, which is what I think, but let's just pretend. Like, is that because them not being as good movies, or is it because of them coming out now, as opposed to when Star Wars came out, there was like nothing like it before?
I think that's a part of it. I think it's definitely like global like consumerism. I think definitely plays a part in like how we interact with media and how we process it, right? So things come and go so quickly that I don't think people stop, and like people don't have time to stop and think about it, right? People don't have time to like get attached to one thing when they're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Or when big companies are like, well, that was cool, but now we're making another movie. Like 2 weeks later, they announce like another trailer.
But I think the thing is, like, I'm starting to think that was always an issue. It's just more of like when things feel like they come ahead of its time, that's when they start feeling like a classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
when things are innovative.
yeah, but I'm starting to feel like that doesn't necessarily mean, in terms of like the group collective, that doesn't necessarily mean the movies are good. Like, let me say this for example, right? Like, I think the Star Wars movies are good. but I think that would be a bad example to use. Let's use something that aged kind of well. The original Lord of the Rings. I feel like the original Lord of the Rings has aged kind of well.
Yeah.
Right. And when they came out, like people thought like, oh, these are great movies, right? And they were a cultural touchstone. A lot of people got influenced by Lord of the Rings. But what if Lord of the Rings came out now? Right?
Yeah.
Do you think it will have the same impact?
I think they'd still be solid movies.
Yeah, I think they'll still be solid movies.
Yeah.
But do you think it'll have the same impact? Half of me kind of want to say yes.
I think they would.
Yeah,
because
I think they
The
would.
Hobbit sucked. Well, because The Hobbit. Well, there you go. You had The Hobbit, which was like Lord of the Rings,
but it was just bad.
It was bad, and no one wants a bad movie, right? Lord of the Rings is solid. I rewatched it recently, and it's a solid trilogy.
Yeah,
like it's really good.
Yeah,
and like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I could say the same about those animes I just watched. I have a weird feeling about the classic animes, right? Where I can't say that about, can I take Gurren Lagann from back then, make it appear, come out right now, and release it in the anime world? Can I say it will have the same cultural impact? And I don't think so.
That's fair. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think now Gurren Lagann wouldn't have the same impact.
Yeah. Like, if I took Evangelion, released it, I don't think it had the same impact.
But then it might if...
Yeah, it might. I can't say for sure.
It might if there were no... Because Ava was a big influence. So if it came out, then it would have a big impact. Since there would be nothing like it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier with, like, the weird timeline where I took Ava out, but somehow the effects of Ava still existed, and then released it to the anime community. Like, would people still like it? I don't know, because I feel like, even though Ava had its impact, I feel like anime today will still end up look like anime today. For the most part, there might be like minor changes, because I think anime today is mostly influenced by like shonen light novels and isekais, right? And some of those might have been influenced by Ava at one point or the other, and maybe their influencers were influenced by Ava and so on down the line. But I think we're so far apart from those influences now that even if there were like changes, if we took Ava out of the timeline, it would be minor. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I feel like, yes, if I took Ava out, took out the timeline, release it now, I don't think anybody will care. Well, I think people care, but I don't think people will care as much. And I can say that with Lord of the Rings. I feel like if I took Lord of the Rings out of the timeline, release it now, it will have as big as impact. Like that with Lord of the Rings. I can say that for Harry Potter. I could say that for like a lot of the really big influences. Like Jurassic Park. I can say that. Because Jurassic Park is a good standalone movie. It took the entire Jurassic Park trilogy and whatever and all the influences, eliminated that, and released just Jurassic Park now. I think people will still love it. Just
yeah.
Right?
Or like Ghostbusters.
Or like same with Ghostbusters. Like people will still be like, oh, like that was so fun. Right? But I don't think I could say that about classic anime. I don't know. If there are thoughts out there, I would love to hear it. Because I'm sort of conflicted to a certain extent. I'm conflicted in the sense that like I'm not sure if I'm alone on this. Right? Because it's just the two of us, right? And I don't know if you went into this conversation having the same opinion I did. But I feel like I've talked to you enough that like I'm kind of influenced your opinion now. So I would love to hear other people's opinions about this. Where it doesn't necessarily have to mean just anime, right? But like about the idea about classics in general, whether it be like films or classic books or games, right? Like, are they as important as you think? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not are they as important? Are they as good as you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is this just something as a product of its time? Does being a classic mean you had a lot of influence? Right? I'm like, I won't necessarily say I'm having like an identity crisis, but I'm having some sort of issue coming out of these classics and feeling almost nothing. Right? Right? Feeling like almost no emotional impact from them.
But you didn't feel that way about Code Geass. And I wouldn't even say that like Code Geass is like considerably a classic.
Yeah.
Not like Gurren Lagann either.
It's not like Gurren Lagann either. But I like Code Geass. I think it's the best show I've seen so far out of those lists I just said. But I don't think I needed to watch it. That's what I'm trying to get across. Like, I don't need to watch any of these shows. I don't think I ever needed to watch any of these shows. At any point in my life, I don't think these were have to watch. And I think coming out of these shows is starting to become like, why are these shows so important? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Because that's like saying like, why does this show matter, guys?
Why are these shows a must-watch in our current like digital age? Like, why continue to tell people that these are must-watch shows when there are plenty of other options that are equally as good, if not better, than the ones that we deemed classics before.
Yeah. I think that's like about 80% what I'm trying to get across. The other 20%, I don't know how to put into words.
Yeah.
But like that is like 80% of what I'm trying to say. It's almost like, okay, like let's just go to Ava, right? Because Ava's the easiest example of this. Ava had a big impact on the anime culture, community, and history in general, right? But I'm starting to feel like, even as like a historical study of anime, it's just, at this point of time, I don't think it matters.
Well, would you say that JoJo is now a classic because of the cultural like community behind it?
I don't know.
Because now it's become such a phenomenon, right? That if you don't watch JoJo, it's just like, you're
not gonna get the memes.
Yeah, you're not gonna be part of the club, right? Or it's like stuff like that. It's being like kind of exclusive in its own way.
Well, it was kind of like that with the JoJo manga. Not necessarily the meme wise, but it was an exclusive thing.
Well, then here's the thing, because that's how it was for Lord of the Rings too. Lord of the Rings, also a book. Harry Potter, a book. So the original source material was already kind of exclusive. If you read the books, then you were part of this club, right?
Especially with Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Right. And the same with JoJo, right? It was like this kind of like niche thing that only certain people were into. And now that everybody's into it, is it now a classic? Because people enjoy it. And people like it, but do people like it because it's good, or do people like it because it's a meme? Does it become a classic because it was like a cultural phenomenon, or is it a classic because it's good?
Yeah, I think you're on to something with JoJo in particular, though. Like, would JoJo be a classic, like down the line, like when JoJo is all and done, like at least the anime, right? And like so and so years after that, will people be like, you should still watch JoJo. Yeah. You should watch Phantom Blood. You should continue on, and like you should watch Battle Tendency. Like
I know one person who would say,
you think Nab would say that, or?
I mean, you could just call him Emmanuel because that's what you said.
Yeah. What you think Emmanuel would say that?
I think he'd say to watch certain parts of it,
Here's the thing, right? Okay, I can't speak for him, obviously, right? But I'm not sure if he would say like you'd still have to watch it, right? I don't think now he would even say like these are must watch. I think he really likes the show, but it's hard to say like, oh, these are have to watch. But I don't know. I can't speak for him.
But I mean, if just like I feel like JoJo fans, right, themselves. If you meet someone who likes JoJo, the first thing that they'll say if you like anime is like, "Oh, I love JoJo.
Yeah.
Have you watched JoJo? You gotta watch JoJo."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you're honest with JoJo in particular because one is a long running series, and two, it's very popular in and outside of anime, right? Because it's not just popular in anime; it's popular outside of anime with the memes and like the jokes and everything like that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the menacing thing and like the aura in the anime in the internet culture. But not everyone has watched JoJo, but everyone knows it. So
It's kind of like Fist of the North Star.
Yeah,
Where people
we call like, oh, you're already dead, right? But like, is that classic? And I think we'll know the answer maybe 10 years from now.
I place your bets, people. I think it's gonna be a
place
classic.
your bets for 10 years.
I think it might be a classic. If I had to,
that you would say is a modern classic.
Yeah, people because I think it's such a phenomenon that I think people are gonna consider it to be a classic. Like kind of like if Berserk were any better.
If the animes were better?
If the anime were better, it would be a classic for sure. It's just kind of like that thing. Anything where the source material itself was good,
and the more easily accessible media was great, then it would be a classic.
It would be a classic. That's what I think. Like, let's say I'm looking at what I have on my shelf. Let's say that, I don't know, like 20th Century Boys, because it hasn't been adapted, right?
Oh, I wish.
Right?
I wish.
It's been adapted into a movie, but it's not been adapted into a series.
Oh, God, I wish.
And if it were adapted into a series, I think people would love it.
I think a good amount of people go nuts.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, I wish 20th Century Boys
because it would be like Monster.
Yeah.
It would be like Monster, definitely. And I think it's.
I wish Madhouse will pick up 20th Century Boys and be like, let's just make this the best anime ever.
Or like I Am a Hero, even though some of it is not that great. Yeah, but like, I feel like the first half is really solid of I Am a Hero, and even if they just ended it there,
that's
at least.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's not like it ended well anyways.
Or even if they came up with like a different ending.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would still be really solid. And it's readily available. So anything where you can go back and read it, watch it, you know?
Yeah. Well, to not necessarily counteract your point, but say like, a lot of people say Star Wars is a quote unquote classic.
Yeah.
But it had no source material. Star Wars is the source material.
Yeah.
So what makes that so different?
Because it was different.
Oh, because it was just super innovative at the time?
Yeah. So either you come from...
Okay, I see what you mean now.
So either you have a source material that you work off of, like a lot of anime do, right? Like SAO, or like, yeah, I don't know, some other isekai or whatever. Or you're
innovative.
Yeah, or you're innovative in whatever you do. Like whatever Madhouse does. Pretty innovative.
KyoAni.
Right? One Punch Man. That's going to be a classic.
You think One Punch Man is going to be a classic?
I think people are going to watch first season. Let's get real.
Yeah, let's get real. If anything's going to be a classic from One Punch Man, it's going to be the first season. My issue is that the second season kind of taints that. And it's not so far apart that you can kind of disassociate
Can you say what about Mob Psycho then? Because I think Mob Psycho would be like...
a lot of people's classic today.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, here's the thing. I can't be the judge of that because I don't like Mob Psycho that much.
I don't know. I couldn't get into Mob either. So we're probably not the best people to
ask about that one in particular.
Mob.
Yeah.
But I know people really love Mob.
Yeah, I know people love Mob, and like I understand that. I think the anime makes it very, very, very good. Mm-hmm. But me personally, like I don't like Mob Psycho that much, and that's nothing against the series. It's just a me personal thing.
Yeah, but I think for sure JoJo's gonna be
a classic. I think JoJo's gonna be a classic because of how it influenced stuff outside of anime.
Yeah, and that in that way it's innovative.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was.
I think that's where I'm gonna put the line of like how significant it was is how it influenced the media outside of it.
The real world.
To a certain extent, right? Because like, yeah, Star Wars, great movies. First trilogy, great movies, right? Like even if parts of it has not aged well, you can't say that bad movies outright.
And it's also like how ravenous those fans are.
Yeah, and like the merchandising, how much it was pushed, like all the money it made, right? That's how significant it was. Lord of the Rings, like yeah, it might have been like not as how can I say? It might have been like more included in like the nerd culture, right? But those movies were like they're aged super well, and they've influenced stuff way outside of it. It influenced movies, games, books. Like,
whoa, crazy. Books.
Yeah, it influenced like almost everything fantasy, right? As much as Dungeons and Dragons. I think what really makes a classic in my eyes is how much influence it has.
Yeah.
Right? I think Evangelion is hard to say that it's not a classic. The issue with me is like, did I need to watch it? But besides the point now, it's just what I'm trying to decide is a classic now. I think throughout this conversation where we kind of redefined our own definition of classic, I can solidly say like, yes, Ava was a classic.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to figure out like what today would be considered a classic, and JoJo's kind of the closest thing.
Well, this is something that art history majors have to figure out all the time, because you won't know what's a classic or what is part of a movement until
years down the line.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you could categorize it now, but you won't know the name of the movement until kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I'm not an art history major, but
I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts on this.
So I just want to talk about Shinkai for a bit. Makoto Shinkai. So he's the director
of Your Name.
And 5 centimeters per second. Basically the two biggest movies that he's worked on.
I just want to tell everyone now that if you like Makoto Shinkai and you love his movies, one, I'm sorry. Because depending on how long this might go, we might shit on him a lot. and two, if you don't want to hear that, thanks for watching. See you next time.
So I only bring this up because recently I went to the city with a group of classmates. So they're friends of mine. We met through school, and we were riding in the car back home, and Rad Wimps comes on, and Rad Wimps is the band that pretty much played all of the music for Your Name, and we kind of got into this conversation of like how I don't really like Your Name. I mean, I don't mind it. It's probably the best
Makoto
Shinkai movie that he's made. And it actually is a pretty solid movie. So I don't want to say that I don't like it. But I can definitely say that it's, I mean, the bar is not very high. you know, for him. I'm just saying. Like, no, I don't hate him as a person, but anyway, getting off track. So we're sitting in the car and we're talking about Your Name and 5 centimeters per second and Makoto Shinkai movies. And my friend is like, would you consider yourself an anime elitist?
Mm-hmm.
And
because you don't like Your Name, or you don't think it was all that great.
Yeah, I mean, because I can sound pretty pretentious when it comes to anime, and I realize that. And I wouldn't consider myself an elitist, which is something an elitist would say. But I definitely am like an anime like hipster, right? Like, I don't like stuff when it gets popular.
Yeah.
As soon as it gets too popular, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. Like My Hero. I love My Hero. But as soon as it got popular, I didn't want to be anywhere near it.
You still read it?
I still read it, but I don't love it the same as I used to. Also, the manga is not doing too hot for me right now. Like, I'm not loving it, which could also be a reason why.
Yeah.
Because as soon as, like, the anime comes out, I'm, like, years ahead of any of the anime people, right? Which is also something an anime elitist might say.
All you plebeians out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like those memes where it's like, you know, me, the anime watcher, and then me, the manga reader. It's like, I'm years ahead of you. Like, oh, you won't like what happens in the manga, that kind of thing. But it's kind of true. Like, to see people like really hyped up about an anime or whatever, like an anime adaptation of a manga, and then you realize that it only gets shittier from there. Like, it's such a depressing feeling to know that it's only just gonna get shitty. And then you get like jaded and angry that people are so excited when it's gonna get bad. Right? Or in the case of My Hero, boring.
Yeah.
For like a year.
Oh, at least our year. I think for an anime, it won't take them like 4 months to get through that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like, can you imagine like a whole year of like
mediocrity?
Yeah. And then people
Sorry, Horikoshi. Love your work. I'm just saying, didn't really dig that one part.
And then people being excited about it. Anyway, this is going back to the Shinkai thing because I've gone off track. But like, so at my college there's an anime
club.
Not a club, but there's like a cultural and like anime appreciation class. Like, it's a media class.
I forgot you told me about that.
Yeah, it's like where you watch anime and you like discuss it. It's an online course, which I'm gonna take next semester.
Are you really?
Yeah, I signed up for it.
Okay.
So you watch like, I think like 5 or 6 different movies. One is Princess Kaguya. Okay. Another one is Grave of the Fireflies, which I've seen. Your Name. Surprisingly, no Satoshi Kon movies.
That's so unfortunate.
Oh no, there is one. There's a Millennium Actress, which makes sense.
Really, Millennium Actress?
Yeah. Because it takes place in different time periods during Japan's history.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense now.
So it makes sense to include Millennium Actress. However,
I would have chose Perfect Blue though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect Blue is definitely a more...
I think that more encapsulate modern Japanese culture.
Yeah. And how like toxic and bad it is.
Not necessarily toxic and bad, but how...
Well, I mean, not toxic that Japanese culture is, but like how like these idols are like perceived. Yeah. They're like put on this pedestal of like purity and like...
But that's not even just the case about idols. I think that's almost every celebrity in Japanese culture. Where they're kind of put on the standard of like, you have to have a good moral standard. And if you don't, if you have any sort of scandal, no matter how minor, you get kind of torn down. Or
that's kind of true. Like if you cheat on somebody,
you cheat on a public image change in Japanese media is a significant thing, and it's really hard to do sometimes.
Like one of the bands that I was listening to, because I was watching Terrace House, at the time of filming, they were going through this huge scandal where the lead singer had like cheated on his girlfriend or something, which caused like serious backlash for the entire band. Which I'm like, first of all, none of your business, and like, second of all, like, I mean, if he wants to cheat on his girlfriend, that's him, right?
That's a him issue.
Yeah.
That's not the band issue.
Like, if that happened in America, then it's like, oh, someone cheated on their girlfriend.
It's like gossip for a while.
Yeah, and then it's like disappears. It's like whatever.
Yeah, the band will still continue.
Yeah. And it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
right?
as long as they keep producing hits, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Even bad media attention is still good media attention in the USA.
Yeah. But in Japan, I feel like it's not like
any bad media attention in Japan is a huge issue. And I think that's more encapsulate that kind of culture in Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like historical movies, I think you already have like Greater the Flower Fights and Princess Kaguya. I don't think you need to cover the same ground with Midnight Mattress. This is besides the point. I just felt like out of the Satoshi Kon movies, you could have picked a better one.
I also think that his movies are just leagues better. I mean, I might be a little bit biased, but I enjoy pretty much all of his movies.
There is no bad Satoshi Kon movie.
I don't know. We haven't seen Millennium Actress. I haven't seen it in a long time.
People still really like Millennium Actress.
Paprika's really good. Paprika's good. Tokyo Godfathers is good. Perfect Blue is good. I think out of all of them, I feel like Perfect Blue is the one that I'm like, I don't know if I like it or not. Like, I mean, I do like it. But do I like it as much as like Paprika and like
Tokyo Godfathers?
Tokyo Godfathers is my number one. So.
Paprika's my number one, I think.
Paprika's your number one?
I think so. I think the way it's quote unquote filmed and like how tightly it's written and how the direction is kind of like not necessarily nothing I've seen before but unique in a way, I think is what really draws me into Paprika. I think Paprika is a better example of good filmmaking than Tokyo Godfather. I think Tokyo Godfather is a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I love Tokyo Godfather.
It's very straightforward.
But it is a very straightforward movie. And I think Paprika is a better example of great filmmaking.
I think if anything to take away from our Satoshi Kon like divergence, it's
watch the Satoshi Kon movies.
Yeah, Satoshi Kon movies are really solid, and it's kind of sad that he's not talked about more.
Yeah,
like Shinkai takes this big spotlight because his movies look pretty, but Satoshi Kon movies look pretty too, and they're beautiful movies, beautifully shot. I mean, the direction shot.
Yeah, the direction is wonderful in Satoshi Kon movies. I cannot say the same about
the color choice is beautiful and spooky and eerie and
but moving on to a more inferior director.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
I would, but
Shinkai's movies are just very flat for me. Like I think the only thing they have going for me is the animation.
Okay.
I mean, but you could say that about anything, right? You could say that
about almost anything. But okay, I have a lot of issues with Makoto Shinkai. One is with his writing. I don't like his writing in general, right? Like, I'm sure he's a fine writer, but I just don't think the things he writes about is that interesting to me. I think until he writes something that's interesting to me, it's when I can judge if he's a great writer or not.
I think the settings of Shinkai's like works are the same. I think they're all very samey, except for maybe Your Name. And I don't know about Weathering You. That's his newest one.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that one, but they're all like high school people for the most part. In this very normal Tokyo setting. There's always a train. There's always rain.
Shinkai movies all have the same kind of like basic structure, which is you have a couple, but the couple is separated by something that could be either physical or like metaphysical.
They have monologues.
Lots of monologues, but what I mean by like separated is like they could either be separated by like just distance, like 5 minutes centimeters per second, which is kind of the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Or separated by like their age or status, kind of like how Guardian Awards, or one of them is a teacher, one of them is a student. In Your Name, they're literally separated because they don't know each other.
Yeah, it's like time and space.
Yeah. The other movie that I don't remember, but it involves one of the characters going to space. Literally, one of them's in space. You can't get much farther than that. But like that's what I mean.
In Your Name, she's dead. I think you can get farther than that.
But that's what I mean. Like they are separated by something, but they kind of, maybe not always, have a way to communicate with each other, and that's kind of the thing that Makoto Shinkai loves writing about,
is like communication and like lost.
Yeah.
Like lost communication. Like relationships that kind of like
have this barrier, right?
Yeah.
He loves writing about that, but the settings he uses is just not as interesting to me. I think his most interesting setting was when literally one of them goes to space, but because of how communication works, they can only contact each other through days and years, basically. Right? So because of how separated they are and how relative time is, one of them continuously grows older while the other one is kind of like stays the same age because of how far along the communication is.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to explain without a diagram about how physics work, but trust me, that's kind of accurate of how physics work.
It sounds, and they all sound really sad, and they all have a good premise, but it's just like the execution.
It's either too slow it's too slow, like I don't give a shit, or the characters are just not interesting.
For example, 5 centimeters per second is probably one of the worst ones, and people seem to love that movie, and I don't really understand why.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, I can understand, right? Because it's them meeting each other, growing apart, trying to be with each other through everything, and then kind of like
growing apart, basically.
Growing apart, yeah.
My issue with that movie is that neither of the characters are interesting enough. The male character is kind of like an awful person in general, and the female character is just not interesting.
Yeah, she's just kind of there.
She's just a person.
But then we're not supposed to know about her afterwards. Like,
yeah, but
because it's from the perspective of the
guy. But the guy is just not interesting. He grows up to be an awful human being, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's like he can't get over.
Yeah, he can't get over her for some reason.
Yeah, even though it's been like years, which is a little bit weird. It's like a little strange that you're still on about your like elementary school crush or whatever. Like, okay, so the movie is split up into 3 parts. For those unfamiliar with the movie, it's split up into 1, 2, 3 parts.
Yeah.
The first part is, like I said, them catching the train, or the main character catching the train to see the girl, because they're separated by this distance. And they've been writing letters to each other, and that was the only way that they could see each other. And then they kind of just grow apart. And then the second one shows how they've grown apart. They have each other's numbers, their email, whatever.
Yeah, and it just stopped.
Yeah, and then they just
slowly stopped contacting each other.
Because like the guy was
life
like,
grows up.
the guy was like, I have all these emails that I've never sent her. I've made them, but I've never sent them. Which I'm like, okay, so it's your fault then.
Yeah, it's your problem.
Yeah. So, which is what happens, you know. That happens sometimes. Is like you have the opportunity to reconnect with people, and then you, for some reason, just don't, and life kind of just happens, and you just
life continues on without you.
Yeah, and this is told from the perspective of
the guy.
No, the girl that likes him.
Oh, you mean that part?
In the second part, but we're told that that's what's happening. That's what's happening on his phone by the guy at the end of the second part. The third part, which is kind of more of a continuation of the first part, if I had to really, because the second part feels kind of like a throw-in, like they had to extend the movie, and it doesn't really do anything. It's just about unrequited love.
Yeah, not unrequited. They love each other.
Who?
Oh, you're talking about the second part.
The second part.
Yeah, the second part is unrequited. That's right.
The second part is unrequited love because he doesn't. They kind of like go out, kind of.
But he's not interested.
But
in her,
he's not really interested in her because he's always like looking
for the original girl.
Yeah. Because I think she's like, oh, he's like looking through me, and to someone else. He's looking for someone else. And the third part is, him living in Tokyo or something.
It's always Tokyo.
Somewhere. Him living in Tokyo or something, and he's with this girl that he doesn't love, and he ignores her calls and whatever because he doesn't love her, and he's still thinking about the same girl, and he and this girl end up walking in the same direction, like in opposite directions, and they pass each other.
Oh, you're talking about the original girl?
Yeah, the original girl. Sorry. They end up like passing each other near this near these train tracks. And he kind of notices that it's her, but a train goes by, and by the time the train's gone, she's gone too. And then he kind of turns around and smiles like he's like kind of gotten over her. And that's kind of like the point, I guess. But like, why did it take you just that exact moment to realize that maybe I should stop being a shitty boyfriend?
Yeah. Okay, like, we're explaining this, right? But here's the thing that needs to come across when you're watching this movie. It drags.
I explained that in like 5 minutes. But the movie is like almost an hour and a half long.
An hour and a half long, which that might not sound long to you. But the movie feels longer. It drags for a very long time. And that's the same for a lot of Makoto Shinkai movies. I would say that Your Name is probably the best Makoto Shinkai movie. Easily.
Hands down.
Yeah, hands down. Like even if we might shit on him and say like, oh, it's not that good or whatever, Your Name is his best movie. There is no competition there.
I mean, Wuthering You might be good. I
don't know. You haven't seen it? Is it even out?
Yeah.
It's out?
I think so.
But yeah, it might be.
I heard Hanabi was kind of bad.
So yeah, maybe. I don't know. All his movies kind of drag.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like Your Name, like does it drag to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Your Name?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about 5 centimeters per second. Your Name isn't that bad. It's actually paced, I thought, pretty well.
Like he's learning.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed Your Name. Although, once you bring up the plot hole
The massive plot hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't really make any sense anymore. And then that's all you can think of.
Yeah, you just have to ignore the massive plot hole.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it just so I can not ruin it for people, because Your Name is relatively new, and I feel like some people might still not have watched it. So
Oh, then I spoiled it.
Your Name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. That doesn't ruin the watch experience. I think if we mentioned the massive plot hole, that'll ruin the watching experience.
Oh, okay.
But my issue, outside of the writing, I guess, because it's a two-part issue that I have with Makoto Shinkai. One is his writing, and two is his direction, because direction is always the same. And what I mean by this is there is always one of these in every single one of his movies, where you get a shot of the sky, and it pans down to either the horizon or the cityscape, and it cuts to something like reflecting or something like that. There's always shots of the sky or the weather, rain. He likes to do reflections a lot. It doesn't even need to be clear reflection. It just need to be like shiny sometimes. He loves water. He fucking loves water, guys. Like, the instant you start noticing his direction style, you can't stop noticing it. Like, it's unfortunate on my side, but it really does. It starts feeling like all his movies are the same.
Yeah.
And
they all take place within the same city.
yeah, it kind of feels like that. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter like how different the movies actually are, they all feel the same. And because of that, none of his movies feel especially special. Like Your Name, like, I will admit, yes, that is an alright movie. I may not personally like it that much compared to other people, but am I gonna say it's a bad movie? No. I'm just gonna say the rest of his movies are bad. Outside Weather and You, I haven't seen that. But literally, I've seen almost every Makoto Shinkai movie, and I think almost all of them are bad. Literally, the only one I don't think is just outright bad is Your Name.
The music in Your Name is really good, though.
Yeah, I'll be fair. Like,
Radwimps, dang.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Like, I will be fair to Makoto Shinkai. When there's a good movie, I would say it's a good movie. But Garden Wars is bad. 5 centimeters per second is bad.
Garden Wars was just boring.
Yeah. And both of his space movies are bad.
Yeah, Garden Wars was just so boring. Like, talk about nothing happening. Like, if you want to just watch some guy and some girl read or draw in the park for like 40 minutes.
It's the foot fetish movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like okay.
The message isn't even good at the end.
No, it's not. I don't know. I think Makoto Shinkai has talent. I'm not gonna say he doesn't. He literally made a movie by himself.
Yeah.
Right? He has talent. And that shows in Your Name, right? I just don't think a lot of his movies are that great. And the more you watch his stuff, the more you realize it's either samey or like it's just not that great. But who knows? 5 centimeters per second, not 5. Your Name might be the turning point. Weathering You might be just as good. Right? I haven't seen Hanabi either. Although, like you, I haven't heard great things about it. But Weathering You might be good, and it might be a turning point, and like it's this is his good stuff starting now. Kind of doubt that though. Call me a cynic. I just doubt that. Anything else you want to talk about Makoto Shinkai?
Nope.
No.
I'm good.
So in conclusion, watch the Toshikon. He's great. Watch My Lemmy Actress, Perfect Blue, Tokyo Godfathers, Paprika, Paranoia Agent. Watch all this shit.
I would love to watch Paranoia Agent.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen it.
So just watch it.
You could probably pick up a copy of Perfect Blue at like a Rasputin somewhere.
Any like DVD shop,
Yeah.
like secondhand shop, you'll probably find it.
Because otherwise, they haven't really re-released Perfect Blue. So finding a copy of Perfect Blue is actually kind of difficult.
If you want to see real good anime direction, watch any Satoshi Kon movie. That's real good, like filmmaking in general, and it shows how you could only show things through animation. Satoshi Kon really makes use of the medium of anime. I don't think Shinkai does the same with his movies. I think if he did his movies but live action and look just as good, they would look amazing, right? I think it's 100% possible. But that's the thing, like, it's anime. You could do more unique things with it.
Yeah, like Tokyo Godfathers would look good as a live action. It would still look good.
It still look good.
But there's a lot of scenes in there where I know they'd have to CG, and I know it's not going to look good. Yeah. I'm just thinking about them right now, and I'm just thinking how horrible they'd look.
Yeah, like Satoshi Kon really makes use of that medium of just animation in general. So you want to see like good like filmmaking? Satoshi Kon's great.
I just love the part where they're trying to use the they're sitting in that laundromat or whatever, and then that truck just like
goes through.
just crashes straight into there. It's so funny.
Yeah. I think that's it for today. By next episode, I would have finished Evangelion plus the end of Evangelion, so I can have a more in-depth talk about that if anyone's interested. But
yeah, and the holiday seasons are coming up, so
Christmas is coming up, so watch A Nightmare Before Christmas.
So watch Tokyo Godfathers.
Tokyo Godfathers is a great Christmas movie that doesn't actually say it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's like Die Hard.
Except Tokyo Godfathers is actually a Christmas movie, unlike Die Hard.
Yeah, it actually takes place like during.
It actually takes place during Christmas. It revolves around the day of Christmas, basically.
And like, you know, like religion and like
miracles and stuff like that.
Yeah, miracles.
So it actually is the Christmas movie, guys. I think that's it for today. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Hope you guys had fun. Just hearing us rant about anime again. Yeah, I know.
Well, it wasn't just anime. I was just talking about classics in general, really.
Yeah.
We just use anime example because it's a really easy example. But yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching episodes 18 of Just a Couple Thoughts. If you want to ask any questions or you have any response, just leave it in the comments below or send us an email at JustACoupleQnA@gmail.com. Otherwise, I have been one half of your resident couple, Kevin, and my other half.
It's me, Sarah, here with the big 1-8. 1-8.
So I'll see you guys next time.
And remember to stay jacked.
Goodbye, everyone.
Stay jacked.